We're happy to be chatting with one of the stars of Jane by Design, India de Beaufort. How are you?
I'm really well. How are you?
Very good. Glad to be chatting with you. So you have to fill us in. Tell us a little bit about Jane by Design, what the show's about.
Jane by Design is a new show airing on ABC Family January 3rd, I believe 9/8 Central. The show is about a girl who is essentially leading a double life through a case of mistaken identity. And so she's splitting her life between fashion and high school. And the show's about the problems that come up because of that.
And what character do you play?
I play the villain. I'm always the villain.
You're always the villain.
My character's name is India Jourdain, and she's a feisty, hardworking, competitive accessories buyer.
And coincidentally, your name is India again on the show. Did they do that on purpose? Because they liked your name?
Yeah, well, I after I signed on to the project, the character's name originally was Amy Tanaka, and they asked me if I wouldn't mind if they stole my name, and I said, that's great, fine, go for it. And my original descendants are French, and so they wanted to find a French second name. And so my mum put together a list of names that had been somehow associated with my family, as well as a list of names that she just liked. And Jourdain was one of them, and that's what they chose.
Oh, very nice. And we like India, truthfully, better than Amy. I don't think Amy so.
I don't know. Do I look like an Amy? Maybe
No,
I do.
we
Maybe I
like
don't.
India.
I don't know.
It's unusual because no one has that name, which is nice.
Yeah, it's definitely getting more common though. I get tweets every now and then from Indias across the world. It's cool.
Interesting, interesting. So you have to tell us, what's a day like for you on the set of Jane by Design?
Busy, hectic, painful for your feet. A regular day is about somewhere, well, hopefully 12 hours, but it's a show where we fit a lot into a small schedule. We shoot 7 days for 1 hour, which is cramming a lot in. And so some days go over and you work pretty late, but it's good fun. It's busy. You get to set, it's hair and makeup, wardrobe, straight to set. And I usually shoot myself in blocks. So I'll have like 3 or 4 days on and then a few days off and then 3 or 4 days on. And so my day is just in the fashion set, the Donovan Decker set all day, running around, yelling at people, being mean, switching costumes, jumping between scenes on different days. But it's good. Like, we have a good, fun cast, and everybody gets along. And so we basically just have an excuse to laugh all day and make, hopefully, what will be great TV.
Oh, absolutely. And anyone who loves fashion, I think, is really going to love the show.
I hope so. I hope so. We had some appearances by some very expensive pieces. We had a Birkin bag that I believe was worth $25,000.
Wow.
Which was lovely to touch. I'll probably never one. And I get to wear Jimmy Choos and Herb Leger dresses, and it's really fun to walk around the Jane closet.
And tell us, do you have any fashion tips, any do's or don'ts after being on the show?
What's funny is I think my personal do's and don'ts have definitely changed since being on the show, because the character that I play is very glamorous. You know, see, my hair is quite short, and on the show I wear hair extensions down to here, and false eyelashes, and red lipstick, and I'm uber glamour all the time. And so I think my do's and don'ts on a daily basis, I'm much more casual now. Like, I'm much more, less makeup, less fancy hairdos, less fancy clothes. I think finding who I am out of finding who I'm not has been really interesting.
Well, it shows like the show has helped then. That's nice.
Yeah, so go casual, girls. Let's go for the casual summer, less makeup look.
Absolutely. And you have to tell us, do you have a favorite episode that you filmed so far, something we can look out for, a favorite scene?
I'd say episode 6. Episode 6 is going to be a ton of fun. It's one of my heavier episodes, so for me to film it was a lot more fun. Because I was around a lot more, and I get to do some really cool stuff. And there may be some kind of mishmash of the two worlds coming together. It's high stress for Jane, that episode, so check it out.
Interesting. Can't wait for that. And when you're not acting, what do you like to do in your spare time?
I'm a big crafty girl. I'm a big junker. I love flea markets. I love renovating old pieces and finding the beauty in old pieces without even touching them. I love making anything. I bake and decorate cakes. One of my favorite blogs is petalsuite.blogspot.com. I think that's it, but Google Petal Suite. The lady who runs that blog has some amazing pieces for anyone who likes cake decorating. Yeah, I'm a real craft geek.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, same with us. We'll have to check out that website. The cake decorating
Yeah.
sounds fun. We also like cupcakes too.
Yeah, well, who doesn't, right?
Very fun. And you have to tell us now what it was like being on Chuck, because that's one of our ultimate favorite shows. How did you like being on there?
Chuck was more of a flash in the pan appearance for me. I went in to do a role of a naughty, sexy, secret spy called Jasmine, and it was a ton of fun. I'd had a lot of experience with stage fighting before, because I shot a show for Comedy Central a few years back where I played a warrior, and so I had intense training to learn how to fight and do stage combat. So Chuck was a nice callback to that. I got to shoot guns, and I got to have a great fight scene with Zach, who plays Chuck, and the cast are a really lovely family, and I'm really sorry that it came to an end this year, because the way they work, it's such a nice environment, and I'm sorry for those people that they don't get to enjoy that anymore.
Oh, I absolutely. We're really upset that it's ending as well. It's one of the better shows out there. We love it so much. And what was it like? What was it like when you first went in there on set to film?
My very first day was not actually filming. I went in to rehearse the fight scene. And it was interesting because where we were fighting, it was on the set of Warner Brothers in Los Angeles. And the fight scene was taking place in kind of this jungle set they have on the stages. And the floor is very dusty and pebbly, so figuring out how to fight and then do it in heels and then jump off rocks and kick people was definitely interesting. But Zach was so sweet and really welcoming and made it really easy.
Oh, that's glad to hear. Very nice.
Yeah.
And you were also on One Tree Hill as well. How'd you like working on there? Quite a few episodes, too.
Yeah, I shot a season of One Tree Hill, season 7. And it was funny because I literally went straight from One Tree Hill into Jane. So I play similar roles, so it was not too much of a transition apart from the accent. I'm American on Jane by Design and English on One Tree Hill. But One Tree Hill was probably one of my favorite experiences to date. One of my favorite times working on any production. I really felt like I'm a part of the family, and I loved the character, and I loved the writing, and I love the fans. The fans are amazing, so shout out to all the One Tree Hill fans who tweet me all the time, and I love you. And Team Tributy and Real One Tree Hill. And so it was a great memory that I'll take with me for the rest of my life, and I really enjoyed playing the role.
Absolutely. We were going to ask you, speaking of your accent, how was it getting rid of your accent for Jane by Design? Is that difficult for you?
What's funny is it's always been something I could do naturally. I had a boyfriend when I was 17 who was American, and I think some of that rubbed off on me. And my current squeeze is American. And he's also on the show. He plays Mr. Hunter on Jane by Design, which worked out nicely. He came to work with me one day, and they said, "Hey, how would you like to play a teacher?" And he stuck around. So the accent was something that I kind of always already had the ability to do. But previously, if I'd ever gone in for parts using the American accent, they'd say, "Well, let's hear your English accent because that's so different, and we'd like to use something like that." For instance, One Tree Hill, when I first audition, I was playing American. I sent a tape from the UK with an American accent. And so Jane, for the first time, I got to have the opportunity to use the American accent. I'd also used it on Chuck, but again, a much smaller role. And this time round, they considered the Brits, but we have another character on the show, Jeremy Jones, played by Rowley Dennis, who's also English. And we didn't want to have too many Brits. So I said, well, I'll just switch. And I did. And I love it.
Very nice. Well, we can't wait to see you on the show.
Thank you.
And what type of roles do you like doing? More so comedies or dramas?
Always comedy. I love comedy. Making someone laugh is the most validating thing in the world. And it worked out nicely for Jane because throughout the series they wrote a lot more comedy for me, aggressively, which is another reason that episode 6 is a favorite because it's a really funny one. Comedy just is so pleasing. And when you're on set and the crew start to muffle and giggle, and nothing feels better than that. Knowing you were responsible for making somebody laugh is a great thing. Absolutely.
It's definitely the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
And what type of TV shows and movies do you find yourself watching?
I'm really into Once Upon a Time right now. I love Downton Abbey and Lark Rose to Candleford, which are 2 English productions. Love Modern Family. I was a huge fan of Ugly Betty back in the day. Friends. I could watch Friends all day long. I like light-hearted shows. I'm not really into procedurals or police murder-driven TV shows. I like things that are fun and fantasy-driven.
How about reality shows? Are you a fan?
American Idol, and I like American Pickers, and Storage Wars, and Pawn Stars, and Gold Rush. These are all shows that I've been catching on to since I've been over in LA. Yeah, all the regulars I think are popular right now. America's Next Top Model, I like that. Project Runway, I love Project Runway.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now
all addictive shows. Yeah. And we're actually going to talk about your Twitter now. How do you like using Twitter? And then go ahead and tell us your username as well.
My username is @IndiaDeBeaufort, INDIADEBAUFORT. Twitter's a funny one for me because I was never really a fan of social media because I felt like with this industry there's already so much of you that's given up that I wanted to keep something private. And so I gave it a little go for a while, didn't like it, and then came back to it. And now I love it because it's a way to speak the truth. You have so much control with Twitter. You get to say exactly how you feel and exactly what you're up to, and it's the only source where you have ultimate control. And I love that. And I love being able to keep in touch with fans from One Tree Hill, hopefully fans from Jane, Chuck, Crod Mandoon, Run Fat Boy Run, whatever it is they want to reach out for on occasion, Basil Brush, boom, boom. And so it's a great source for keeping in touch, but still keeping a distance and limiting exactly what is out to the world and what you keep private.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, we're definitely a fan of Twitter because, like you said, how would we know what the cast of Jane by Design is doing or what you're doing, you know? So,
yeah, it's great for that. Definitely. And it's great for us as well to share photos and pictures of us with the gang, and there never was that before. There never was that kind of technology.
Right.
And so it's nice now that that's available.
Absolutely. And you thought, how did they come up with Twitter? What's next to come? I couldn't imagine what's next. I don't know.
MySpace is just going to keep getting better.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. And we actually have a couple get-to-know-you questions, so we're going to ask you some of those now. You have to tell us first off, do you have a favorite fast food restaurant?
Favorite fast food restaurant? Well, to be honest, I'm more of a sushi girl. Mm-hmm. I've had recently the In-N-Out burger. The protein burger from In-N-Out is great. But I'm more of a sushi girl.
Sushi, okay. Well, we ask everybody, are you a fan of Chick-fil-A, or have you had it before?
I've never had Chick-fil-A. We don't get Chick-fil-A in England. We also don't have In-N-Out in England.
That's very true.
Yeah, we have McDonald's, Burger King, and Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's what we have.
Interesting. Yeah, well, you'll have to try it now that they just opened the Chick-fil-A in Hollywood, and let us know what you think.
I'll have to check that out before I go home, yeah.
Absolutely. And then, secondly, we're going to ask you your celebrity crush.
Celebrity crush, I really only crush on Todd Grinnell. Todd Grinnell's my fella. He's an actor. He's incredibly talented, and he makes me laugh, which is why I love him. And
then tell us one thing we may not know about you.
One thing you might not know about me. I never had two front teeth. These two here.
You're kidding.
They never existed. And so when I was my first year of secondary school, which would be high school, I showed up with no two front teeth, which was awful and embarrassing, especially in a time when you just want to fit in and be cool. And so I had train tracks. I think you call them retainers, braces. Mm-hmm. I don't know. The ones that they sort of attach to your teeth for most of high school, which was awful.
Wow.
But now I have nice straight teeth, so it worked out.
Interesting. Yeah, we didn't know that about you. That's so interesting. And then tell us something you can't live without. Do you have a prized possession or something?
I cannot live without lip balm. Chapstick lip balm. I like the cherry one. When I'm in England, I like the Nivea. Oh. Can't live without it. My lips are always chapped. It's terrible.
Absolutely, agreed. And we actually got some fan tweets in. We have Indy_OTH.
Indy! Hi, Indy. I love Indy. She tweets me a lot.
She asked, her name is India too.
Yes,
where did you get your name from, and are you named after anyone in particular?
India, I got my name from an Italian family. My mum moved to London when she was 16, and she lived with an Italian family for a while, and they had a little girl, and they called her India. My mum loved the name, and when I was born, my dad, I believe, wanted Natasha, and my mum wanted Coco, and then I popped out, and they said, nope, that's in India.
Ah, very interesting. And then we have another one, Faraawes. Far asks, what's the story behind your name as well, which you just told us, so.
Story has already been said. I'm sorry, but thank you for the question.
Absolutely. And then we got another one from India as well. What was the best part of working on One Tree Hill?
Hi, Indy, again. The best part of working on One Tree Hill, I would say scenes with Joy. Scenes with Joy were always amazing. She's a really, really talented actor. And the writing was so great that the two of us just kind of took it away and made something that I think was really, really fun to watch and really, really fun to do. And I loved working with Joy. She's an angel.
Absolutely. And then we're going to ask you, what's a dream role for you? Where would you like to act on?
A dream role would be, I would love to do a romantic comedy. Mm-hmm. I would love to play... I'd love to be dressed down a little bit. I'm always glammed up, and I'd like to play something a bit more real, a bit more vulnerable, and a character that I get to dress down or geek up or be something other than roles I've already been.
That would be fun.
But definitely a romantic comedy.
Absolutely. Do you have a favorite?
A favorite romantic comedy? I've got a lot. I really like Bridesmaids.
Oh, yes.
I thought Bridesmaids was really funny. It's more of a comedy than a romantic comedy, but I love that. I think, let's see, what else? The Hangover is another one, which is a great comedy from this year. Anything with Julia Robertson. I'm a big fan of Julia Roberts. And moving away from comedy, I'd say anything with Carey Mulligan in. Never Let Me Go is one of my favorite films of the year.
Oh, all good choices. Good choices. And then is there anything else you want to tell your fans out there?
I would say tune in. Make sure you watch Shame by Design on ABC Family, 9/8 Central, January 3rd.